This story follows Captain Zorov and his crew of Liorans, an alien species, as they scan a huge human battleship, only to be unexpectedly captured. But what they find is not a deadly warship, but a vast, peaceful human cruise ship filled with strange comforts, friendly strangers, and surprising kindness. The crew's fear turns into confusion and wonder as they face a new kind of power, not weapons or strength, but friendship and shared joy. This is a story about facing the unknown, fear changing into trust, and how sometimes the most dangerous things can turn out to be the most hopeful. The tone is tense and dramatic at first, full of fear and danger, but gradually becomes hopeful and emotionally rich. The stakes are high for Zorov's crew, they don't know if they will live or die, and the story explores how they cope with this impossible situation. Captain Zorov sat stiffly in his command chair aboard the scout ship Gentle Wing. His purple eyes, sharp and alert, scanned the starfield before them. Around him, the bridge was tense and alive with activity, but no one spoke freely. The crew's fear was thick in the air. They had done what was forbidden. The captain had given the order to scan the large human battleship. It was a vessel they had heard about in stories, feared and respected. But nothing could have prepared them for what came next. The moment their scanners activated, the ship shook violently. Alarms blared, lights flashed, and warning signals erupted everywhere. The Gentle Wing trembled in space, powerless against an invisible force. Zorov's augmentation lenses flickered, painting his vision with lines and numbers. They showed the truth, an intense gravitational field pulling their ship closer and closer to the human battleship. Their thrusters worked hard but failed. The battle was lost before it even began. "Captain," the navigator Travier hissed, his voice tight with panic. "We can't break free. The field is too strong." Zorov's crest feathers ruffled in frustration. "Keep trying. Someone find a way to reverse the pull." At the communications station, Officer I worked furiously, her feathers unkempt with stress. Her voice was steady but quiet as she tried to reach the human ship. The Gentle Wing's bridge was a whirlpool of fear. No one met the captain's eyes. Blame and helplessness weighed down their spirits. "Why did you order the scan?" Travier's words stabbed through the chaos. "It was a collective choice," Zorov answered, though the words tasted bitter. He felt their judgment, their silent accusation. Seconds later, their ship crossed the threshold into the docking bay of the human battleship. Zorov could see the enormous hangar doors parting like the jaws of a giant beast. Bright lights shone down on them, casting long shadows. Containment fields snapped into place behind them. They were trapped. "Human vessel," I transmitted, "this is the Lioran scout ship Gentle Wing. We apologize for our unauthorized scan. It was not an act of aggression. We beg for your mercy." Zorov felt the weight of the moment settle. The captain must face the unknown alone. "I will go," he said firmly, rising from his seat. A ripple of disbelief spread across the bridge. Travier looked as if he might protest, but Zorov raised a wing to silence him. The captain moved toward the equipment locker, grabbing an atmospheric analyzer. It felt heavy in his talons. He needed to know if the air beyond the hatch was safe. The crew watched, frozen, as their captain approached the hatch that would lead into enemy territory. The hatch hissed open, revealing a docking bay larger than Zorov had imagined. The space was brightly lit, enormous enough to hold ships far bigger than the Gentle Wing. Tools, equipment, and weapon lockers lined the walls, an intimidating sight. From across the bay, a figure approached. A human. Zorov's mind raced, recalling every protocol for first contact. But these rules assumed goodwill. This was different. They had scanned the ship without permission. They were prisoners. The human was tall, broad-shouldered, with pale skin and dark hair. His uniform was neat, decorated with badges Zorov could not read. The captain lowered his head in submission. Then the human smiled widely, revealing sharp teeth in a display that would normally be threatening, but the smile was warm. Welcome aboard. I'm Roger, guest services officer for the Milky Way cruise ship, the human said cheerfully. You're our first Leoran guests. So exciting. Wait till the captain hears about this. Zorov froze, confused. Cruise ship, he managed. Roger laughed. Yes. Not a warship at all. We're a civilian vessel, traveling the galaxy for fun and relaxation. You were caught by our docking system, it's automatic when a ship scans us. The captain's mind spun. Their scans had shown dozens of weapons and predatory species aboard. Yet the human spoke as if this was the most normal thing in the universe. Come on, Roger said, motioning them to follow. I'll get you checked in and show you around. The casino deck is quite popular. And the restaurant just added new sea-based dishes your species might like. Zorov's crew began emerging from the gentle wing, faces pale and eyes wide with fear and disbelief. The captain's heart twisted with conflicting emotions, relief, suspicion, shame. On the human ship's bridge, Zorov noted the strange blend of technology. Star charts and navigation displays sat alongside menus, entertainment schedules, even a tally of complimentary drinks served. Other species bustled about. Humans were many, but not alone. I whispered to Zorov, why are they pretending? Is this some kind of trick? Before he could answer, Captain William Hartman appeared, a human with silver hair and a calm presence. Sorry about the confusion, Hartman said kindly. Your scan was interpreted as a booking request. Happens often. Zorov struggled with disbelief. Your ship, it is not a warship. Hartman smiled warmly. Far from it. The Milky Way is a place for peace and enjoyment. Here, old grudges and fears are left behind. Kelix, the crew's data analyst, spoke up, but your ship has weapons. Defensive only, Hartman replied. Space travel is dangerous. Pirates, cosmic storms. We protect our guests. But inside, this is a place of fun and friendship. Zorov's world felt unsteady. Had they scanned a battleship, or a miracle? Roger took them to the pool deck, an underwater paradise filled with pools of different temperatures and waves. They watched humans, Briarians, Reptari, and even fairer, all predators and prey by history, playing together, laughing, sharing drinks. This is impossible, Travier whispered. I surprised everyone by volunteering to try the water slide, despite their fear. Her scream was not of terror but joy. Slowly, the crew began to see that this strange vessel held no threat. It held a new kind of power, one born from peace and laughter. As Travier won credits at the casino and the crew sampled exotic foods, Zorov realized the true danger was not from the humans but from holding on to old fears. And for the first time, the Gentle Wings captain felt hope. The soft hum of the Milky Way cruise ship surrounded Captain Zorov as he stood with his crew on the observation balcony overlooking the pool deck. The vibrant blue water glistened under bright lights, and laughter echoed across the space. For hours, the Leorans had been caught between fear and amazement, unable to fully understand what they had stumbled upon. Zorov's feathers remained slightly ruffled, a sign of his internal turmoil. This place was unlike anything he had ever imagined. The stories they had heard about humans were filled with warnings, dangerous predators, ruthless warriors. But what he saw now was a dazzling mosaic of species, playing, laughing, and sharing in peaceful enjoyment. Travier, once trembling with terror, now gripped a small stack of brightly colored chips. The navigator's eyes gleamed with excitement and disbelief. I can't believe it, he murmured. Predators and prey, sharing drinks, playing games. It's like a dream. I, the communications officer, stood nearby, her yellow feathers still damp from the water slide adventure. A smile flickered on her beak, a rare sight. I was wrong, she said quietly. This isn't some cruel trap. They want us to feel safe. Kelix, who had been taking notes on social dynamics, nodded thoughtfully. I've never seen anything like this. Different species putting aside their instincts for the sake of fun and friendship. Zorov looked down at the sunflower seed he held between his talons, cracking it open slowly. The simple taste of Earth's gift was comforting, a reminder that even small things could carry great meaning. They call this a cruise ship, he said, his voice low. A place where old fears are left behind. Roger appeared beside them, his cheerful smile unwavering. I'm glad you're enjoying your visit. The pool deck is just one of many surprises. If you have time, I can show you the casino. It's where many guests like to test their luck. Travier's eyes lit up instantly. I want to try again. There's a tournament tomorrow, and I have to practice. Zorov chuckled softly. The navigator's transformation was astounding, from despair to enthusiasm in less than a day. Very well. We will explore the casino next. As they walked through the glittering corridors, Zorov took in the sights. The walls were lined with beautiful murals depicting distant planets and peaceful meetings between species. Soft music drifted through the air, adding to the calm atmosphere. This was a sanctuary amid the stars. Captain Hartman joined them at the casino entrance, his presence commanding yet warm. Welcome to the Stardust Casino. Open nearly all day and night, it's a favorite among many species. Whether you gamble or simply watch, it's a place to unwind. Zorov's crew hesitated at the threshold. The sounds of cheers, laughter, and clinking chips were overwhelming after their recent fears. But curiosity won over caution. Inside, tables were filled with players of all shapes and sizes. A group of Briarians, massive, muscular beings known for their warrior ways, sat beside humans, their laughter filling the room. At another table, Reptiri shared a game with furry farer, their natural hostility seemingly forgotten. Travier clutched his chips tightly as Roger led him to a brightly lit machine. Try this one, Roger said with a grin. It's called the Cosmic Cascade. Easy to learn and a favorite among newcomers. The navigator hesitated, then inserted a chip. Lights flashed, and music played. The machine announced a small win. Travier's feathers puffed up in pride. I won, he chirped, eyes shining. Roger patted him on the back. See? Luck's on your side. Now, let's try a few more. Zorov watched the transformation with quiet amazement. The man who had been ready to end his life just hours ago was now smiling and chatting with others, sharing tips and advice. Even Keelix relaxed, her note-taking slowing as she enjoyed the lively scene. The captain himself felt the weight of the moment settle on his shoulders. This was a test, not of weapons or strength, but of trust and openness. Could they learn to let go of fear and embrace the unknown? Later, the crew gathered in the Sunrise restaurant, a dining hall filled with windows that showed stars streaming by outside. The tables were covered with dishes from across the galaxy, each one unfamiliar yet inviting. Roger presented a selection of seeds, sunflower, pumpkin, and pine nuts, with a flourish. These are some of our most popular snacks, he explained. Each has a story and a flavor unique to its home world. Zorov picked up a seed, inspecting it carefully before cracking it open. The nutty, slightly salty flavor was comforting, yet strange. Simple, he said softly, and perfect. Around the table, the crew sampled the foods, their previous fears giving way to wonder. I praised a seed-based pudding, while Keelix made notes on the flavors and preparation methods. Travier leaned forward eagerly. We should stay. We have to see more of this place. It's a chance to understand the galaxy beyond our fears. Zorov studied his crew, seeing their faces transformed by hope. Our mission, for now, Keelix interrupted gently, we are on leave. We've fled too long, afraid of the dangers beyond. Maybe it's time to face them differently. I nodded. The deathworlders we feared, maybe they are just beings like us, seeking connection. Zorov's mind churned with questions. Could this be true? Had they been wrong all along? As the crew chatted excitedly about pools, casinos, and foods, Zorov found himself reaching for another seed. The taste was a small rebellion against everything he had believed. Roger smiled. Tomorrow's breakfast will be even better. We just got a shipment of Andromedan pearl seeds. You won't want to miss them. That night, Zorov stood alone on the observation deck, staring out at the stars. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but also wonders beyond imagining. He whispered to himself, maybe this is just the beginning. The soft hum of the Milky Way carried on through the night as Captain Zorov lay awake in his cabin. The stars outside glimmered like distant fires, and yet inside him, a storm raged. His mind replayed the day's impossible events. A ship feared as a deadly battleship turned out to be a floating palace of peace and joy. His crew, once trembling in terror, now laughed and shared stories with species they had long been taught to fear. Could this be real? Could this be the future? At dawn, the ship's gentle vibrations stirred Zorov awake. He dressed quickly, feeling the weight of responsibility settle once more on his shoulders. The crew's newfound curiosity and hope depended on him now more than ever. He met Travier, and Keelix in the corridor. They were already talking excitedly about the day ahead. The casino tournament starts soon, Travier said, clutching his lucky chips. I have to practice. I want to explore the zero-gravity pool, I added, her feathers freshly dried and glowing with energy. Swimming in 3 dimensions, it's like flying. Keelix smiled softly. I'm more interested in the social dynamics. This place is a living study of peace and cooperation. Zorov nodded. We will experience it all. But remember, our mission remains. We must learn and report. If this place is truly a haven, it could change everything. They walked together to the dining hall. The Sunrise restaurant bustled with early guests. Humans, Briarians, Ripari, and many others shared breakfast with easy smiles. The atmosphere was warm and inviting. Roger greeted them enthusiastically. Good morning, Captain and crew. Ready for your first full day aboard? Zorov felt a rare warmth in his chest. We are. As they ate, Roger told stories of the cruise ship's long voyages, the friendships formed between species, and the adventures guests had shared. Each tale chipped away at Zorov's hard-held fears. Later, at the pool deck, I led the way. The zero-gravity pool floated before them, a vast space where water and bodies moved like dancers in slow motion. Visitors swam effortlessly, twisting and turning in the shimmering liquid. I dove in, her wings folding tightly. Her laughter rang out as she floated and spun. Zorov watched, amazed by her joy. Come on, Captain, she called. Try it. Zorov hesitated, then slowly entered. The water embraced him, weightless and strange. He moved with a new freedom, his feathers trailing like silk. For a moment, the fear vanished. He laughed quietly. Travier joined them, his nerves eased by the calm. Even Keelix ventured in, taking careful strokes, her eyes wide with wonder. That afternoon, the casino buzzed with excitement. Travier played with a new confidence, learning games alongside guests from many worlds. He chatted freely, his fear replaced by thrill. Zorov observed the interactions around him. Here, predators and prey sat side by side. Old rivalries seemed to dissolve in the face of shared enjoyment. The human staff were attentive but friendly, guiding guests with patience. No threats lurked behind their smiles, only kindness. Captain Hartman found Zorov in a quiet corner. I can see you are thinking deeply, he said. This place is unusual. Many have trouble believing it at first. Zorov nodded. It challenges everything we were taught. But it is a powerful example. Hartman smiled. That power is what keeps peace in the galaxy. Connection, understanding, laughter, these are weapons stronger than any cannon. As night fell, the Milky Way floated serenely through space. The stars watched silently. Zorov's crew gathered in a common room, sharing stories and laughter. Their fears had not vanished completely, but they were less sharp now. Helix raised a glass. To new beginnings. I smiled, eyes bright. To hope. Travier leaned back, a contented sigh escaping him. To the future. Zorov looked around at his crew, their faces softened by wonder and warmth. He knew their journey was only just beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and mysteries. But perhaps, with courage and open hearts, even the deepest fears could be overcome. The following morning aboard the Milky Way began with a quiet buzz of excitement. Captain Zorov watched his crew move with a new energy, the fear from their capture fading under the bright promise of discovery. At the ship's briefing room, Captain Hartman greeted them warmly. "Today, I'd like to invite you to join our cultural exchange program," he said. "It's an opportunity to learn from each other, share traditions, stories, and skills." Zorov felt the weight of the offer. This was no mere entertainment, it was an invitation to bridge worlds. I exchanged a glance with Helix. "I think we should participate," she said softly. "To understand more." Travier nodded, already eager. "I want to learn their games and traditions." The group followed Hartman to a large hall filled with beings from across the galaxy. The room buzzed with chatter, music, and the rich smells of exotic food. A human elder stepped forward, smiling kindly. "Welcome, friends. Today we celebrate diversity, our differences and our shared dreams." Zorov noticed how even the most feared predators moved with calm respect. It was a dance of trust, delicate but powerful. They split into small groups. Zorov joined a circle where species shared stories of their home worlds. He listened, fascinated by the rich histories and struggles. Nearby, I learned to play a traditional Briarian string instrument, her feathers moving gently to the music. Travier tried a reptary combat dance, guided by patient instructors who smiled at his awkward steps. Helix took careful notes, her scientific mind racing with ideas. After hours, the group gathered again. A human storyteller spoke of Earth's past, wars turned to peace, enemies becoming allies. The room was silent, the message clear, peace was possible. Later, as the sun set beyond the ship's windows, Zorov stood on the observation deck with I. "We've seen a new way," I said quietly. "Not just a cruise ship, but a hope for the galaxy." Zorov nodded. "Yes. But it is fragile. Old fears die slowly." She looked up at him. "We have a choice, to hold on to fear, or to choose trust." He smiled softly. "Then we choose trust." The days that followed were filled with wonder. The Gentle Wings crew explored every corner of the ship, spa treatments that soothed weary muscles, art galleries showcasing alien beauty, and even lessons in the human language and customs. At night, they gathered to share their own stories, creating bonds with species once considered enemies. One evening, Zorov received a message from his homeworld. The Leoran fleet was preparing to patrol borders, hunting predators and avoiding conflict. Old orders. He felt a pang of doubt. Could he return to that life? Or had his journey changed him forever? At the next port, the crew faced a choice, return home or continue the cruise. Travier spoke first. "I want to stay. There is so much to learn." I nodded. "We have changed. We can be more." Zorov looked around at his crew, brave, hopeful, transformed. He took a deep breath. "Then we will stay. For now. To learn, to grow, and to bring a new hope to our world." The human crew smiled, welcoming their new friends as fellow travelers on a journey not just through space, but toward understanding. The Milky Way glided through the silent vastness of space, a shining beacon of light and hope. Captain Zorov stood once again on the observation deck, gazing at the stars that stretched endlessly ahead. Around him, His crew had grown into something new, stronger, braver, and full of wonder. The days spent aboard the cruise ship had transformed them. The fear that once gripped their hearts had melted into curiosity and friendship. They had shared laughter with former enemies, tasted foods from distant worlds, and learned that even the fiercest predators could be gentle companions. Today was the final day of their journey on this circuit, and the crew prepared for departure. Yet none were eager to leave. Zorov called his crew together in the ship's common room. Their faces glowed with warmth and hope. "This voyage has changed us," he began. "We came aboard as prisoners, captured by fear. But now, we are something more. We are ambassadors of trust, proof that even the oldest fears can be overcome." Travier smiled, holding his lucky chips. "I have never felt so alive." Ice eyes sparkled. "The pools, the games, the friends, we carry all of this with us." Keelix nodded. "Our mission is no longer just survival. It is connection." Suddenly, the ship's communication console chimed. Captain Hartman's voice came through, warm and steady. "Captain Zorov, it has been an honor having you and your crew aboard. We hope you will visit again." Zorov replied with sincerity, "Thank you, Captain Hartman. You have shown us a new way." As the gentle wing prepared to leave the Milky Way, Zorov looked at his crew, no longer just terrified explorers, but pioneers of peace. Their ship detached smoothly, the vast docking bay shrinking behind them. The gentle wing's thrusters fired, carrying them away into the dark. But this time, the darkness was not empty. It was filled with possibility. Zorov's mind was clear. When they returned home, they would share what they had learned. They would tell stories of kindness, laughter, and friendship. The galaxy was full of dangers, yes. But it was also full of hope. And that hope, he realized, was the greatest power of all.